Hey, you're here for DC News number 128. It's going to be a potpourri edition of DC News, and we're going to talk about Death in the Family. Oh, it's doing such a great job over DC, they're going to expand the brand. Also, Harlan Ellison and Paul Chadwick are going to be doing a mini-series at DC. No kidding, yes they are. Also, we're going to talk about creative changes over on Birds of Prey and Phantom Stranger. He's going to pick up a co-writer. All that and more coming right up. Help us here at Alternate Reality to improve your kids' grades. Now, we know that good grades deserve a reward, and that's why we have the Alternate Reality Good Grades Club here at the store. If you have a grade schooler in the Chicagoland area, either city or suburbs, bring in their report card and we'll issue you one of these. Alternate Reality Good Grades Club card. Now, for each A, your grade schooler will receive a 2% discount, and for each B, a 1% discount. Now, based on this report card, this grade schooler is going to get an 11% discount here at the store for everything, all the time, all year long. So come on down to Alternate Reality, because good grades deserve a reward.
Comics, a throwback to a simpler time. We're going to keep it simple. Here's Comic Book Man and Bo with DC News.
It's reality we're hoping to avoid. Thank you. DC Comic Book News, episode 128, Knights of Damsels in Distress.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. Bo?
Yes?
Bo?
DC News time!
Bo?
DC News time! Stop asking the question!
DC News time! It's DC News time! And it's coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all my new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Oh, we're going to start things off with, you know, the biggest thing in the DC universe right now, selling-wise, sales-wise, is, of course, Batman Death in the Family. Oh, it's selling like crazy throughout all the Bat titles.
Die-cut covers, all that stuff.
Yeah, die-cut covers, you know, every issue is selling out. Second prints,
Joker's,
third prints on some of them coming.
Stapling his mask to his face.
Joker's got the staple gun up, stapling the face onto himself and other people. And
It's not very hygienic.
Not very hygienic, but what the hell, he's doing it anyway. So, you know, when you got something successful, what do you do?
What do you run into the ground?
You run into the ground. DC's taking a page out of Marvel's book.
So what DC's going to do is, since Death in the Family is doing so well, other major DC characters with big deal villains will get the same treatment.
And the villains are all going to cut their faces off.
Well, something's going to happen to the villains. Now, the nice thing about this is, this story was leaked on Bleeding Cool, and most of the people who worked at DC, you know, the writers, the guys who draw stuff, they found out about the whole thing.
Their reaction was, huh?
Yeah, because they found all about it
We're doing
on
what?
Bleeding Cool. So the editors didn't tell them anything. Rich Johnson posted it, and they went, "We are? What?
We're doing what?
We are?" So some of them aren't too happy about the idea.
Why not?
They had storylines laid out that they're going to have to throw out the window because they're going to start doing this.
You know, we have been doing this a long, long time, Bo. Not just the Video Outhouse News, but we've been covering the news in various formats in various places for a long, long time. This is nothing new in comics.
No.
This is nothing new. Marvel has done this. DC has done this. You know, oh, that 15-issue story arc that you're halfway through, you need to wedge this new story arc in the middle of it, and then we're going to pick up your story arc again.
Well, it goes back to the big difference between the two companies. DC's always been editorial-driven, which means they consider the editors to be the star of the books, whereas Marvel thinks the guys who write the books are the stars.
Yeah, Marvel's done this before, too. Peter David has bitched mightily about this in the past with books he's worked on, like Hulk and X-Factor.
It's like, I have to put this in a crossover, but they got to the point where Marvel goes, if you don't want to be part of the crossover, we don't care. You don't have to be. and Peter David went, I'm cool.
Which actually is not a bad
Yeah.
Of course, the problem you have with that is you get enough people together who say that, then nobody's in the crossover.
Well, usually the crossover's in a major book, and they're like, I don't really need the other people to be involved in it anyway.
Okay. Harlan Ellison. There's a name that I have not heard in a long, long time. Harlan Ellison, who is still with us.
Yes, he's still with us.
Who is not passed on.
He's not kicked on.
Harlan Ellison is going to do some work at DC. I find this absolutely amazing. Harlan Ellison is going to do some work at DC. What is Uncle Harley going to do? He
and concrete artist and creator Paul Chadwick are going to be
There's another name that you never associate with DC.
Paul Chadwick has done work in DC, I think, since for like 20 years.
Yeah.
But he's teaming up on what's called Harlan Ellison's 7 Against Chaos, which will be coming out next summer. It involves 7 heroes who must save a distressed Earth. Now, are these
DC Universe heroes or are these Harlan's heroes?
These are Harlan's heroes. These are characters he's going to come up with on his own.
What is the rights thing with that? Because Harlan is sort of famous for creator rights, and DC is sort of famous on, hey, it's in our book, we own it.
Well, but you know, they've got a precedent. You can do a creator-owned book at DC.
Yeah.
And you sign up basically so they can use the characters. But in order for them to use the characters after he's done with this, they'd have to go to Harlan, and Harlan would have to approve it.
Oh, I see nothing but problems coming out of this.
It's next summer, so if it doesn't come out, we know what happened.
Okay, so we'll look for that next summer. Meanwhile, Skull Kicker's Jim Zukovich is doing what?
He's taking over Birds of Prey with number 18. He's taking over from Dwayne Suzerski. Okay. DC in March or April are going to have a bunch of guys, a bunch of new writers take over some established DC Universe books.
Okay.
And Jim Zukovich is one of the guys they picked to take over Birds of Prey. So he said he'll have a little bit of a tweak to it. It'll be a little different. But the artists will stay, but they're going to take a bunch of the writers and go, get the hell out of here. You come over here. You write the book.
Speaking of writers, changing up on books, Wonderkin Dan DiDio, who's been working on Phantom Stranger, previous to this, brought back OMAC as part of the first wave.
Oh, that was a fine
of the New 52, and previous to that, in the pre-New 52, worked
Killed
on
Outsiders.
Was on Outsiders. Okay, he is going to be getting some help on Phantom Stranger, starting with number 6, and he's going to be getting the help from
an actual writer, James DeMatteis.
Why?
Because
why?
I don't know. Because James DeMatteis needs work. He needs something to do in the mainstream universe.
Okay.
DiDio's being vice president. You don't really have a lot of time to write books on a regular basis.
Last I heard, nobody was beating down his door to get him to write any of these books.
Yeah,
he's doing this on his own.
But
which is fine if he wants to.
But being a vice president, you can basically do that. That's why you
well,
don't
gee, you should have thought it was for
that's why you don't see Joe Quesada doing a book over at Marvel. He knows he doesn't have time. So DiDio says, I need someone to co-write this. James DeMatteis is the kind of guy who works on the Phantom Stranger type stories that we do.
Yeah.
And so he's the perfect choice for it. And this will be DeMatteis' return to the DC Universe because he's one of the guys who was also sort of shoved out of the way when the New 52 came up.
Phantom Stranger has sold relatively well as part of the current wave of New 52 books.
It was Wave 3, I believe.
Yeah, Wave 3. It sold fairly, compared to stuff like Sword of Sorcery or Team 7, it is still selling fairly well, which is sort of surprising considering it is a Phantom Stranger who has never sold.
And it's being drawn by Brett Anderson, who hasn't sold books for a while.
But
I think it's part of the. I think the reason why this is selling is it's more tied into the DC universe, and everyone already knows this is going to be tied into the big, huge event that DC's got planned for the Trinity War. And so people are going, well, if it's going to be tied into the Trinity War, and this is setting up the Trinity War, I don't want to be lost, so I'll keep picking the damn book up. If it wasn't connected to that, nobody would give a crap.
Well, it's a continuity-heavy book, and yeah, it concentrates much less on the mystical side of things and much more on the continuity side of things.
Because,
the DC
Phantom Stranger was an actual guy before he became, the Phantom Stranger.
Apparently he was Judas Iscariot.
Yes, he was.
Well.
And then he got his stylish outfit, and he's been walking around with no eyes ever since.
Yeah, wow. And a really bitchin' hat.
And 30 pieces of silver.
The hat is what makes that book.
The hat is what makes that book, and the hat is what makes that character. Yes, that 1960s Mad Men hat.
He's the man with the hat.
And that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We got no more DC news. Go to the store's website. Check out all this man's DC news. Bo.
Yes.
Tell him.
Sarah. Tell him.
www.myalternatereality.com. It actually smells a little like split pea soup.
So stop up the store's website, check out all his news, and until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
I gotta go find me one of them cool-ass Phantom Stranger hats.
Go back to 1962.
I can do that.
Bye!
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.